Hold open the email. Welcome to the channel. If you find this content helpful, please consider subscribing. The email arrived at 2:14 a.m. Independent compliance review requested. My finger hovered over the sender's name. Hartford and Gray LLP, the same law firm that represented him years ago. My old boss, the man who'd called me into his office after hours to discuss my potential, then slid a hand up my thigh. The man who fired me the next day when I said no. I'd never told anyone. Not my roommate, not my family. Shame glued my lips shut. For 3 years, I rebuilt myself. Certifications, late-night classes, therapy. Now, here it was. Hartford and Gray asking me, an independent auditor, to investigate harassment claims at his company. The cursor blinked. My chest tightened. But this time, I wasn't the intern trembling in a bathroom stall. I hit reply. Terms accepted. Please forward all employee records and internal communications. I saved the draft, my reflection sharp in the dark screen. He wouldn't recognize my name. Not yet. Outside, rain tapped the window. I pressed send. The perfect job. Flashback. Back then, everything was different. 3 years earlier, I walked into the Criterion Solutions office for the first time. Sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, bouncing off polished desks adorned with white orchids. Please forward all employee records and internal communications. I saved the draft, my reflection sharp in the dark screen. Chest tightened. But this time, I wasn't the intern trembling in a bathroom stall. I hit reply. Thank. Terms accepted. Bull forward. Is my lips sharp? And dead end fast. The air buzzed with energy, phones ringing, keyboards clattering, the occasional burst of laughter. This was my dream job, marketing associate at a respected firm, fresh out of college. I'd spent my last $30 on a thrifted blazer, sleeves rolled up to hide how it swallowed my hands. Mr. Carter, CEO, salt and pepper hair, a firm handshake, interviewed me personally. We value loyalty above all here, he'd said, smiling like a mentor from a career guide. I nodded so hard, my neck ached. The job saved me. Flexible hours let me take Mom to chemotherapy every Tuesday. The insurance covered her treatments. For the first time since her diagnosis, I could breathe. I brought coffee for the team, memorized corporate policies verbatim, stayed late to perfect presentations. When Mr. Carter praised my work in meetings, I'd text my roommate, "They actually listen here." She'd reply with party emojis. On Fridays, I brought maple glazed donuts, his favorite. He'd wink, say, "You're going places, kid," and I believed him. We all did. The first red flag, the first warning, wasn't dramatic. It was a Tuesday. Michael lingered at my desk after handing me a latte. Caramel, extra hot, just like you. His thumb brushed mine. "Careful," he said, holding eye contact a beat too long. I told myself it was a joke. Then came the mentorship lunches he'd cancel last minute. No one came through as nice to me, but I remember that. He wouldn't recognize my name. Not yet. Outside, rain tapped the window. The first morning wasn't dramatic. It was a Tuesday. Michael lingered at my desk, rescheduling for evenings when the office emptied. "Better focus without the noise," he'd say, pulling the blinds. I memorized excuses. "My roommate's sick. I have a call." But ambition outran instinct. This was Mikey Carter, the man who'd written recommendation letters for half the department. The roses after the shoulder incident should have been the line. But when HR called me his special projects lead, I twisted it into validation. See, they trust me. This was my dream job. Marketing associate at a respected firm, fresh out of college. I'd spent my last $30 on a thrifted blazer. Sleeves rolled up to hide how it swallowed my hands. The man who'd written recommendation letters for half the department. This was my dream job. Marketing associate at a respected firm, fresh out of college. Even as colleagues winked. Late nights again, Lena? I clung to the lie. Professional. Always professional. The real red flag? How he weaponized praise. "You're not like the others," he'd murmur, shutting his office door during our one-on-ones. "So mature for your age." Once, he accidentally shared a screenshot, a Slack thread where he defended me against jealous critics. My stomach dropped. There were no critics. Just him, painting himself as my protector. I deleted the screenshot. Told myself reporting it would seem ungrateful. After all, he'd just secured my promotion. "We're a team," he said, handing me a key to the executive lounge. "No more clock watching, right?" By the time he scheduled that after-hours board prep, I'd already gaslit myself into compliance. The isolation felt normy. The locked door, just efficiency. But when his palms settled on my knee, reality snapped into focus. This wasn't mentorship. The coffee, the roses, the lies, They'd all been rehearsals. I said no. He smiled. Let's discuss maturity, Lena. The next morning, my keycard failed. The incident. Shadows in the office. It happened on a Thursday. The office was empty, fluorescent lights humming. Michael called me into his office to review my career path. His door clicked shut, a sound I'd later rehear in nightmares. He sat too close, thigh brushing mine, eyes locked on my collarbone. "You've got ambition," he said, fingers tracing the edge of my blouse. I stood, chair screeching. "I should go." "Don't be naive. This is how the game works." His palm pressed flat against the wood above my head. Cologne soured in my throat. Say no, and that promotion? Gone. Your potential? He smirked. Poof. My voice cracked. "Let me leave." For a heartbeat, he studied me, like a predator deciding whether to pounce. Then he stepped back, smooth as always. "Your choice, Lena." The next morning, HR called me in. Michael sat beside them, face a mask of concern. "Unfortunately, your performance hasn't met expectations," he said, sliding a termination letter across the table. No eye contact. No roses. I packed my desk in silence, coworkers avoiding my gaze. One intern mouthed, "I'm sorry," as I passed. I shook my head slightly. Don't. Fear tastes metallic. I'd swallowed it for months. That night, I deleted every work email, burned the suit I'd worn, and scrubbed my skin raw in the shower. But shame doesn't wash off. So I let it dry, let it harden, let it become armor. Here's what matters. When he cornered you, you said no. When he threatened you, you walked out. That's not weakness. It's a spark. Keep it alive. Document everything. Tell one person you trust. And know this, that door clicking shut, someday you'll be the one to open it. Silence and termination. The office went quiet after I left. No calls, no emails, just the hum of my apartment's fridge and the click of Mom's voicemails. "Honey, did something happen? You sound off." I'd stare at the phone, throat sealed shut. Shame isn't just a feeling, it's a muzzle. For weeks, I replayed it. Michael's smirk, as HR handed me the termination letter. Coworkers turning away. Performance issues. A lie so simple it stuck. I applied for jobs, but my resume gap screamed problem. Nights blurred into job boards and ice cream pints, my savings draining. Then came the migraines. My doctor frowned. Stress-induced, she said, scribbling a prescription. When I hesitated, she added gently, "This pattern, it's familiar. Are you safe?" I nodded, tears hot. She slid a pamphlet across the desk. Workplace harassment resources. I tucked it in my bag, untouched for months. Here's what silence does. It isolates. It lets them rewrite history. Michael promoted a new rising star within weeks. Another young hire, another latte with extra foam. I watched her LinkedIn updates, stomach churning. Would she speak up if it happened? Could she? But silence isn't forever. One rainy Tuesday, I opened the pamphlet. Dialed the free legal hotline. The voice on the line said, "You're not the first. They told me to gather evidence. Any texts, emails, witness names. I had none. But I had dates. Therapy sessions gave me language. Coercion, retaliation. Words have power. If you're here now, clutching your phone, know this. Silence is a survival tactic, not surrender. Start small. Tell one person. A nurse, a librarian, a friend who won't say, "I told you so." Find your timeline. Write what you remember. Survival isn't pretty. I replayed it. Michael's smirk as HR handed me the termination letter. Coworkers turning away. I watched her LinkedIn updates, stomach churning. Would she speak up if it happened? Performance issues. A lie that stuck. Witness names. Write what you remember. Survival isn't pretty. But it's step one. The next step? That's yours. The unraveling. Months in the dark. The months after termination blurred into a numb routine. Mornings began with scrolling job boards in pajamas. Afternoons drowned in true crime podcasts to silence my thoughts. My savings evaporated. First the gym membership, then health insurance. When the migraines spiked, I visited a free clinic. The doctor, a woman with kind crow's feet, noted my weight loss and trembling hands. "Any recent trauma?" she asked. I shook my head. She paused. "I ask." Footsteps. The door swung open. "What the hell are you—" Michael froze, tie crooked. Recognition flickered. That intern, the quiet one. "Mr. Carter," I stood, extending a hand. "We're reviewing harassment claims. Per federal guidelines, you'll provide full access to emails, Slack channels, and personnel files." My voice stayed flat, clinical. He laughed, uneasy. "This is absurd. I'll call legal." Hartford and Gray already approved the scope. I opened my folder. Sliding forward, his 2019 termination letter. My termination letter. Let's start with this. Interviews took days. Employees whispered in conference rooms, hands shaking as they handed me screenshots. "He threatened my visa," said a developer. "Told me I'd regret saying no," murmured a marketing associate. I logged each incident, cross-referencing dates with Michael's promotions. On Friday, HR Director Patel pulled me aside. "You understand the sensitivity here." I handed her a flash drive. 23 victims, 18 still employed. "You have 72 hours to act before I escalate." Walking out, I passed Michael's new special projects lead, a young woman clutching a latte. Our eyes met. I slipped my card into her hand. Here's the truth. Power isn't a title. It's the list of names in your pocket. The law degree you earned nights. The choice to protect others when you couldn't protect yourself. If you're holding this story, document, save, reach out. And if you ever walk back into that room, bring proof, bring witnesses, bring hell. Confrontation in the boardroom. The boardroom air hummed with tension, fluorescent lights reflecting off the polished table. Michael leaned back, smirking, as I set down the folder. A bit dramatic, Lena. Still bitter about that promotion you lost? His allies chuckled. I clicked open the projector. Emails flashed on the screen. His requests for late-night meetings. Complaints marked resolved by HR. Termination dates of every woman that he'd targeted. The room stilled. Exhibit A. Your 2019 message to HR calling me hysterical. Exhibit B. Payroll records showing hush money bonuses to witnesses. Michael's knuckles whitened. A director cleared his throat. These allegations are concerning, but... Page 12, I interrupted. Voice recordings from last week's interviews. I pressed play. A junior analyst's voice wavered. He said I'd never work in this industry again. Another. He cornered me in the supply closet. Michael stood, chair screeching. This is slander. You're just a failed employee looking for. Check the timestamp on this termination letter. I zoomed in. Signed hours after I refused your advances. Same template used for 6 others. I turned to the board. Federal guidelines require you to report this within 24 hours. Your move. Silence. The CEO rubbed his temples. Michael, step outside. Here's what survivors need to know. Evidence beats arrogance. Dates don't lie. If you're preparing for this moment, do 3 things. First, document every interaction. Save emails. Note witnesses. Second, partner with legal aid. They'll help subpoena records. Third, practice neutral phrases. Let's refer to the timeline. Keeps you grounded. As security escorted Michael out, his new assistant caught my eye. She nodded slightly. Hand resting on her phone, recording. Justice isn't a grand speech. It's the click of a projector, the rustle of a paper trail, and the courage to say, Page 12. The bluff and the evidence. Michael's laugh was too loud, too sharp. None of this proves anything. Where are your witnesses? The board members shifted, eyes darting between us. I unclipped my pen, clicking it once. A signal. The door opened. Sarah, the intern who'd mouthed, "I'm sorry," years ago, stepped in. I kept notes, she said, voice steady. After Lena was fired, he told me, loyalty gets rewarded. She placed her phone on the table. A recording played. Michael's voice, muffled but clear. You think HR cares? I am HR. His face drained. That's edited! This is a vendetta! I slid a final document forward, a bank statement. Monthly deposits from company funds to your private account. labeled consulting fees, same dates as each termination. The CEO leaned in, squinting. You paid yourself to silence them? No, that's not. Michael reached for the paper. The CEO yanked it back. Enough. We'll comply with the auditor's recommendations. As security escorted him out, Sarah squeezed my arm. Thank you, she whispered. Here's why evidence matters. Bullies bet on your silence. They assume you'll crumble, delete emails, stay ashamed. But one saved text, one whispered I saw it too from a coworker, one bank record. That's how systems fall. If you're facing a bluff, 1. Breathe, don't react. Let them talk. Contradictions pile up. 2. Redirect to facts. Let's review the timeline from March 12th. 3. Have a backup witness. Even one ally shifts the power. Michael's lawsuit settled out of court. Sarah kept her job. The company overhauled HR policies. Your turn. Open that Notes app. Write every date. Save every email, even the harmless ones. Forward them to a personal account. Tell one person today. Evidence isn't just proof, it's armor. And when the day comes, you'll stand ready, pen in hand, knowing the truth doesn't bluff. Closure. What happened after? The lobby was quieter now. Until the next incarnation. Until this is incarnation. We might still be alive. This is part of the moment. No more burnt coffee smell, just antiseptic cleaner and the muffled clicks of keyboards. I passed Michael's old office, now occupied by Sarah, the former intern. Her nameplate gleamed, Director of Compliance. She looked up, grinning, and waved a handbook titled New HR Protocols. The settlement had conditions. Michael banned from leadership roles, mandatory trainings for all managers, anonymous reporting channels. 6 employees came forward after the hearing, receiving back pay. What happened after? Michael's lawsuit settled out of court. Promotions, therapy coverage. My lawyer called it a watershed moment. To me, it was simpler. Proof that systems can change when evidence outshouts ego. 3 months later, the clinic doctor who'd handed me that pamphlet emailed. A patient shared your story. It gave her courage to report her supervisor. I printed that note, tucking it beside my certification. If you're holding silence, 1. Document, even a note in your phone with dates. 2. Find one ally, a doctor. Michael's lawsuit settled out of court. To me, it was simpler. Coworker, helpline volunteer. 3. No endings aren't neat, but justice grows in cracks. Sarah texts me weekly updates. Last week, new hire reported a comment. We acted same day. I replied, good. Now make that normal. The elevator doors close. My reflection's clearer now. End screen. You are not powerless. The elevator doors close. My reflection's clearer now. No more trembling intern. Just a woman with a folder of truths. You've heard my story, but here's yours. That knot in your stomach when they smirk. The texts you deleted out of fear? Keep them. Write dates. Tell one person. A nurse, a teacher, the barista who knows your coffee order. Evidence isn't about revenge. It's about rewriting endings. Find the free clinic. Dial the hotline. Forward those harmless emails to yourself. When they say, "Who'll believe you?" remember, I did. So will the lawyer, the doctor, the intern taking notes. Your silence kept them safe. Your voice? Everyone always laughed. Their face is my family. Benches, now a while again. Just everyone. One must avoid anything. But I never want to see them again. It's not just enough. A bully move might take you out of leadership. But it's a re-invitation. Hope it builds new doors. Press send. Save the draft. Let your cursor blink. Steady as a heartbeat. You're not powerless. You're a future. Someone will quote in their victory speech. Start here. Start here. You're not powerless. You're a future. Someone will quote in their victory speech. Start here. Press send. Save the draft. Let your cursor blink. Steady as a heartbeat. You're not powerless. You're a future. Someone will quote in their victory speech. Start here. You're not. And the world cannot be enough. You're not powerless. You're a future. Someone will quote in their victory speech. Start here. You're safe. Press send. Save the draft. Let your cursor blink. Steady as a heartbeat. You're not powerless. You're a future. Someone will quote in their victory speech. Start here. You're not powerless. Your future, someone will quote in their victory speech. Start here. Work in progress. You're